my view on politics is a whole lot like athletics. If you want playing time, you got to produce. And that's what I tried to do when I played for Wayne Martin. I tried to produce. When I played for Rick Mays at Elliott County, I tried to produce. Well, it's been the same thing for me in my elected political position is, if you want playing time, you got to produce. So I tried
Oh
to
yeah.
produce. And I felt like the best way you could produce is when you get behind a microphone, can you look at point at things and see things? Because I really believe if you want to show that you're producing, people got to be able to see, feel, and touch it.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
People can see that
Yeah.
you're producing, that you're using their tax money to make good investments in the community, just like this morning.
Welcome to the New Frontier Show. I'm your host, Jared Ravenscraft, joined by my co-host,
Joshua Ravenscraft, and we're sitting down with the trailblazers, the go-getters, and the creators, sharing stories from the journey and lessons learned along the way. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you to our friends at ARH for allowing us to bring you this show for free. Appalachian Regional Healthcare, the healthcare system of Appalachia.
Today, we're joined by Rocky Adkins, a lifelong Eastern Kentuckian, former educator, former coach, and he is one of Kentucky's most respected public servants. After serving more than 30 years in Kentucky House of Representatives, Rocky now serves as senior advisor to Governor Andy Beshear, helping lead efforts in economic development, disaster recovery, and continued growth across the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Please welcome on to the New Frontier Show our friend, Rocky Adkins.
And we're finally getting to where we're ready to break ground and start building. So it's been an exciting day. Anytime I can leave Frankfort, go to Sandy Hook, go through Moorhead, back through Moorhead, and then back to Frankfort, it's been a good day.
Two of Kentucky's biggest cities, Sandy Hook and Moorhead. You hit them both in one day.
No question. And you all know
Oh,
the
yeah.
first discovery that was made by a project that I earmarked in the budget when I served in the legislature was a project called the Space Science Center.
Yes, sir.
And that earmark of $16 or $18 million, when we cut the ribbon on the project, we're in there and we're in that, what do you call this big sphere when you're sitting in there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm sitting there, and as they're, leaving, going into outer space, and then as they're coming back
it's
in,
awesome.
you're starting to see, the universe, and then you're starting to see Earth, and then all of a sudden they just keep coming in to where all of a sudden they're over top of a little community that I recognized, and it happened to be Sandy Hook, and that came across the screen, and this voice came over and said, "We've made the first discovery at the Space Science Center, and we're announcing that first discovery here today." Said, "We have located the center of the universe, and that happens to be Sandy Hook, Kentucky." So when you appropriate $16 or $18 million in the budget, you can get that kind of recognition. So
Wow.
we were in the center of the universe today and announcing another good project.
So you're back in Frankfort right now, and
Yep.
I am. Yes.
So-
I drove back and had a little meeting in
That's
Lexington,
awesome.
and
yeah,
I'm back here in my office, and wanted to be with you guys and have a chance to have a
thanks for hopping
discussion.
on.
And still got a busy afternoon after I leave you all, but this will be
Oh, we
fun,
appreciate
relaxing, and I'm honored to be with you and honored you guys asked me to be on.
Yes, sir. Josh has got a lot of hardball questions, a lot of fastballs. So get. Well, we talked about Sandy Hook, which is your hometown. We're obviously from Moorhead. We're all Eastern Kentucky guys. Rewinding it back, obviously you're from Sandy Hook. What was it like growing up in Eastern Kentucky as a young man?
Well, it's the greatest place. It was kind of a village that helped raise all of us, to be very honest, just trustworthy people. We played a lot, man. We played ball. We rode bikes. We got after it. Our side yard at my home where we grew up right in the middle of Sandy Hook, it was laid out like a baseball diamond. We
Love
played
it.
so much that you had base pads, and you had
Yeah.
a batter box that was wore out in the grass, and my mother was used to putting in windows from foul balls that went through the windows. But, we got started early, and as a neighborhood of kids, man, we just played. We didn't have social media and telephones and all that kind of stuff. We were shooting basketballs, hitting baseballs, riding
good stuff.
bicycles, playing hide and go seek, and all of those things that I think maybe kids need to be doing more of today, to be very honest. But
100%.
Absolutely.
and being raised in that community, my dad was a longtime coach and teacher, and my mother taught preschool, but was the clerk at the IGA store, which was right across the road from where I grew up. And so I spent a lot of time at the IGA and helping my mother bag up groceries. And of course, we found games to play there because the owners of the IGA were two guys that we grew up with there in the community. And
That's awesome.
so, we're still very close. And then my dad, where he was raised on a farm over on the left-hand fork of Middle Fork, we spent a lot of time, growing tobacco and, raising cattle and, raising pigs that became hogs and chickens and that's part of who I am, man. I tell you, that's where I was taught work ethic and
Yeah.
where I was taught really what it was to to be in a tobacco barn and graduate from the top of the barn to the middle to finally you got big enough and strong enough to be on the bottom rail. And I thought that's where I always wanted to be until I got there. And I thought, maybe I was not educated as well in hanging tobacco as I thought. But, my grandfather always had a team of mules. So when Tyler Childers talks about a team of mules,
Yeah.
I know exactly what he's talking about. And, working those mules. I mean, that is an education that I would not trade for anything. But, as I relate back to growing up on that farm and the work that we did and being together and, being in a stripping room and, eating that bologna and those ripe tomatoes and, really that camaraderie we had all through of being on the farm and raising most of what we ate, to be very honest with you.
Wow.
And, but that education, that kind of community that I was raised in, it taught a lot. I mean, it taught family, taught loyalty, taught friendship, taught work ethic. It just taught so much. And then, of course, on through growing up, of course, my dad being a coach, I was raised in a gym as well and in a
Yeah.
locker room and kind of became a gym rat after that. And, athletics has been a big part of my life. And, I learned how to play mostly on a gravel court with the outdoor goal. I mean, that's where we played.
Do you think Josh wanted to know if he could get a pickup game with you soon? Do you think you could still take Josh?
Well, I don't know how strong his knees and his ankles are today, but I've still got that head and shoulders like I'd be afraid
Oh,
to
yeah.
break a leg or something. We'd
I
have
mean,
to have EMT close by.
You're probably there at the Capitol in Frankfort. You're probably still the best basketball player there today. Would you say?
Well,
Is that a fair assessment?
There's some younger guys that have come on that would like to challenge from time to time, but
A shot at the title.
I still can shoot it, and I may not be I never was too quick, or my leaping ability was always questioned by Coach Martin as well, but still going after a loose ball and just gutting it out and doing the things you got to do to get playing time. I don't get playing time in the political career either without, my speed or my leaping ability. It's just on hard work. I get up before they get up, and I go to bed after they go to bed, and try to stay ahead of the game and try my best to treat people right and move on.
I didn't know that you grew up. I knew you were obviously from LA County and you're an Eastern Kentucky guy, but I didn't know that you grew up working in tobacco like that as a young man. And like that's something I did before or after college, during college to make money was I weed eated, I mowed, I did dirty jobs. So I love that you brought that up because I think that you learned something doing those types of things that kind of obviously shape who you are today. And to your work ethic, I can attest to that because I remember when I was at Morehead State, the few times we would go to the gym at 6 a.m., you were there lifting weights, shooting basketball. So I know that's a fact. I can attest to that.
I appreciate it. But no, my grandmother and grandfather, born at the turn of the 1900s, 1901, 1903. I mean, some of our people think they have it rough. Let me tell you what, man, that generation, is just unbelievable. And to be kind of raised under their feet, it would be my dad's mother and father. I didn't really get to know my mother's mom and dad that well. They passed away when I was really little, baby.
Mm-hmm.
So, being raised kind of and watching my grandmother fix those cat head biscuits, watching her
Oh, yeah.
cook on a wood stove, watch her all day long, have that hair rolled up in a bun on her head. And I'm honest, she chewed 5 different types of tobacco.
Holy
little
cow.
pinch of this, little pinch of that, and just a hard working,
Tough as nails.
Mama, tough as nails, but fix 3 hot meals a day. I mean, when we were working, you'd have a hot breakfast, and we had chickens, of course, and you know what the yellow looks like when you break open an egg that just came off the nest. It's not yellow, it's
It's
orange.
orange. Yep.
And so, having that hot breakfast, and of course, the bacon we ate was raised there on the farm. The beef we ate was raised there on the farm. And then to watch my grandmother fix that breakfast on that wood stove, and then to watch her at lunch, scrape together things that maybe was left from breakfast, and all of that. And then a pone of cornbread. Guys, have you ever eat cornbread that tastes like cake? I mean,
Josh
that's
probably
how
has.
good.
I got
I'm
some right
telling
here.
you, hey Josh, I'm telling you, man, my dad, and that was handed on down to my dad, but to be raised under their feet, I mean, people that helped build America, man, these are
Yep.
tough people. I mean, had an outhouse. We'd have,
Yep.
didn't know what city water was, to be very honest, until I became a state representative. And the reason I did is because Elliott County was one of 5 counties that didn't have a water line outside the city limits. So we
Wow.
had an outhouse, and we had, all of these things, and a team of mules. My grandfather had team mules the day he died. And I
Wow.
mean, all of that, to be able to live in when they lived, to live the same tradition kind of they lived growing up. And that old house that my grandfather and grandmother, you slept in those big feather beds, and you didn't have, at that time they didn't have heat in the house. We throw coal on those big fireplaces in that house
Good
to keep,
Lord.
I mean, it was
I
so.
never
But
knew this.
I would not trade that for anything.
Yeah.
And then to be raised there and to watch them, how they kind of brought their tradition into my dad's tradition. And my dad and mother was born in 1934. My dad was born in 1935, right in the middle of the Great Depression, going in and getting ready to go into World War II. And I don't know if anybody that listens to this has watched FDR yet on
Frank.
Netflix.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. That is
I'm a
one of the
hit. Yeah.
greatest movies that I've watched in a long time, of how FDR, polio survivor, became president during the Great Depression, led us through a war. It's just an amazing. So that was kind of my mom and dad growing up when they were kids. And then they came out of that generation, man, and all they knew was what their mom and dad coming out of that. I mean, just tough people.
Tough
I mean,
people.
just
Tough
tough as
grit.
pine knots, man. And I mean, just to watch now, coming through that, and some of that being instilled in me, some of my
Yeah.
speeches, you all hear what I talk about. I mean, I talk about that, and
Yeah.
then what led me to have work ethic, to be a gym rat, and maybe have enough talent to play at the college level and go to college where my dad did at Morehead State. I mean, every bit of that I just talked about is
Yeah.
really who I am. That's what
Yeah.
I'm made of. It's my soul. It's my heart. It's everything that flows through me came from my mama and papa, their generation, to my mom and dad's
Love
generation.
it.
They had it tough too. My dad can tell you the brightest thing he ever saw in his life was the first time he got to turn a light switch on. And all of you know
Wow.
that is rural electrification.
Yes.
So that happened during FDR as well. So, I mean, all of that, and to hear my dad and mom, who are no longer with us, to be raised in that, to tell those stories, and to instill some of that toughness in you,
Mm-hmm.
instill some of that. And the other day, my youngest daughter, Tori, which you all know, Tori said, "Dad, you're old school," and I said, "Yeah, and I'm proud of it."
Hell yeah.
100%.
Part of
Love
that
it.
old school comes from what I just explained.
Rocky, when you were growing up, obviously in LA County as a young man, what were you thinking you would do when you got older? Were you just thinking, I'll play basketball, I'll go to the NBA? Did you think you would be doing what you're doing now? Did that ever cross your mind?
No, I never thought I'd be an elected public service. You can be in public service and do a whole lot of things. You all do it. I mean, your contribution back to Eastern Kentucky when we've had really tough times of, raising money and giving clothing, going with food and all. So that's public service,
Yes,
okay?
sir.
But I never thought that I would be, run for a political office or be in public service as far as an elected official. So, I got my degree coming out of Morehead with a master's degree in secondary ed, and I went back home and I actually taught and coached only for 1 year, 1.5.
Oh, wow.
And the reason I'm still such an advocate for public educators being paid what they should be paid is I'm one of the casualties that had to leave public education teaching because I couldn't support my family.
They-
A young family wanting to have children and just couldn't make ends meet. So I had an opportunity to go to work for the Addington family in the energy sector, and I did. But soon after I left coaching and teaching, maybe a half year later, tell you how I got in to having my name on the ballot was really an interesting story. We had a longtime state rep by the name of Ray Brown,
Mhm.
and he had been there for 14 years, and he had a heart attack and passed away.
Mhm.
And his wife, Frances Brown, filled out his term. And everybody just kind of thought she would continue to run. I hadn't thought anything about it really.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting on a Sunday afternoon at our house, and the telephone in the house didn't have cell phones. On the wall rings, and I answer it, and the lady on the other end said, "Rocky, this is Frances Brown." And I said, "Well, how are you, Miss Brown?" And very respected people in our community, her and Ray
Mhm.
Brown. And I said, "Miss Brown, I'm doing fine. How are you?" She said, "Well, I'm doing fine," but said, "We've had a meeting." And I said, "Well, is that right?" And she said, "Yeah, we've had a meeting." And I said, "Well, what's that have to do with me?" And she said, "Well, in this meeting, we've made a decision that you need to run for state representative,
Oh man.
and you're the kind of guy that's got the name recognition across this district because you played college basketball.
Hmm.
That we think you're the candidate that could win and fill out Ray Brown's legacy at
How
one
old
end
were
of
you?
the General Assembly." I was 25. I was
Oh
25.
Wow.
man.
And I said, "Well, Miss Brown, I had never thought about running for any political office, and I wouldn't even know how to run a campaign." And she said, "Well, honey, don't you worry about that." Said, "You just sit back and we'll run it for you." And so after I talked to my family, my mom and dad and my wife, we made a decision to run. And we were fortunate enough to win that first campaign, had both a primary and a general. We won both of those
Wow.
elections. And, I served 33 years in the House, and all of that kind of coming from that first campaign. And so that's kind of how I got into being an elected public service. And
Wow.
for people to have that kind of confidence in you, to leave you there time after time after time. My view on politics is a whole lot like athletics. If you want playing time, you got to produce. And that's what I tried to do when I played for Wayne Martin. I tried to produce. When I played for Rick Mays at Elliott County, I tried to produce. Well, it's been the same thing for me in my elected political position is, if you want playing time, you got to produce. So I tried
Oh
to
yeah.
produce. And I felt like the best way you could produce is when you get behind a microphone, can you look at point at things and see things? Because I really believe if you want to show that you're producing, people got to be able to see, feel, and touch it.
100%.
Mhm.
So when I went to Frankfort, the folks I represented, they needed things, and they still do today. They
Yeah.
needed better roads, and they needed, city water, and they needed new schools, and they needed job opportunities, and all of that. So when I get behind a microphone, you all have been there before. I like to be able to point, see, feel, and touch it, so people can see that
Yeah.
you're producing, that you're using their tax money to make good investments in the community, just like this morning. I mean, you can
Yeah.
see, feel, and touch what we did, and we actually had a $4.6 million big cardboard check. And I've always liked to do that because people can see, feel, and touch that.
If they don't
100%.
know, if you don't show them, they don't know. And
They don't know, and I've always said, if you got a good story to tell, you better tell it. So
you are a
being
great storyteller.
to be in athletics taught me a lot about that. Being
Yeah.
a point guard taught me a lot. Having good coaches, putting me in leadership positions, taught a lot about that. Being in the political arena and trying to be a guy that I pride myself in being able to work across party aisles. I pride myself as having good friends on the Republican side and Democrat side, and being able to have conversations about how we reach compromise,
Hmm.
how we unite instead of divide, how we bring common sense and common ground, how we bring certainty and stability, how we treat people with dignity and respect. Everybody's a little bit different. And my dad always told me, he said, "Son, if everybody's like you and I," he said, "it'd be a pretty boring world." He said,
Oh
"Everybody's a
yeah.
little different." And my
Hmm.
mother, of course, was a person that instilled in me to treat other people the way you want to be treated. If you're going to be mean to people, they're going to be mean to you. But if you're going to be good to people, most people, they're going to turn the table and they're going to be good to you as well. So, I just believe that my definition of public service is two. I mean, if you want playing time, you got to produce.
You got to earn it.
But my definition of public service also is to get up every day and fight through the political divide,
Mm-hmm.
and to not worry about who gets the credit, because as an old point guard, if you make everybody else better, then it makes yourself better.
Getting assists.
And yeah, and I just believe that the definition of public service is to get up every day and try to find a way to help somebody. Get up every day and try to find a way to make a community a better place. And if you're in it for any other reason beside that, do something else.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
do something else. If you're in it to be mean to people, if you're in it to put your foot on somebody's neck, if you're in it to divide people, if you're in it to do away with certainty and stability, if you're in it because you get joy out of seeing people hurt, then
It's the wrong
do something
thing.
else. Just do something else. You don't need to be in public service. Now look, you guys know me. You know, I be tough when I have to be tough.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a backbone and I have to have one. I can give up on the floor and give a fiery speech and defend my position. But why can't we do that? Why can't we disagree on issues and not be disagreeable?
100%.
Why can't we have a debate on the House floor and hold our principles and our position, but go out that night and have dinner together and try to find a way to find the middle? So, you know, then
Yes.
speech this morning, I said, look, this project, this 911 emergency center we're building here, this is not a Democrat or Republican project. This is not a right or left. It's not a red or blue. This is just a project that's good for this community. And
Good for-
everybody there clapped.
100%.
Everybody there
100%.
clapped.
We'll
Because
go ahead and we'll clap for that too.
that's what most people want, you know.
You've got
So
Josh
that's
ready to
kinda-
run through a wall.
It's kind of what I try to do every day.
It's true.
And I really believe in my role of serving 33 years in the House, and then my role as the senior advisor of the governor. I've tried to bring that institutional knowledge from the legislative branch to the executive, and I've tried to mold them both together. Plus, coming from the private sector has been beneficial for me as well, to work in the energy sector for the Addington companies and work for R.J. Corman Railroad, and to have that kind of understanding of people that put their steel-toed boots on, their hard hat, carry a dinner bucket. You know, I've been out there with them, and I have such appreciation for the education and really what it instilled in me to see folks that go underground and folks that run big machinery and folks that know how to fix an engine, diesel mechanics and hydraulics, and to watch the skilled workforce and to have that private sector in my life to be able to bring it to the public sector. I think it gives me a keen understanding of what's going on in people's lives, how hard they work to make a living. And also, I think I have a keen understanding to be able to communicate with individuals, regardless of who they are or where they come from, because of that.
That's a great point.
I've got about 30 follow-up questions.
I do
I'll try
too.
to get, but I want to say, as you started earlier, I heard something a long time ago. I think Steve Jobs said this, founder of Apple. The best leaders aren't people that just say, "Hey, I'm a leader. I'm going to be a leader." They're the people that step up because it's the right thing to do. Like you mentioned, that's when you stepped up for Elliott County, you stepped up for your people to represent them, and I think that's what makes you a great leader, because you represent everybody's needs because it's the right thing to do, because you want to do it, not because you're just like, "Hey, I'm a leader. I'm here to show up and get it." It's not about that.
Yeah, like for instance, Rocky, like you're the type of person, and I've known you since we were just babies, but for example, you'll go into a coffee shop or somewhere, and you'll say hi to each and every person, you'll shake their hand, and you're not something that somebody's like intimidated, like an ordinary politician. You're a friend, and you come across, as somebody that you can trust and that you're on their team. At least that's how we've always seen you.
I've been at concerts. I was at a Chris Stapleton concert. I've been at Keeneland. I've been at Fuzzy Duck Coffee Shop in Moorhead. And I'll watch Rocky walk in the room or into the arena and say hi to literally everybody in his path. "Hey, how are you doing? How are you? How's it going?" So personable. And Josh and I wanted to ask this. Is that just you, or is that a learned skill because you're really good at it? And for people that like us that want to be better communicators, what do you say?
Yeah. I think it's a little of both.
Yeah.
I've had a personality that's always kind of been outgoing, to be good to people.
Yeah.
And to speak to people, whether I know them or whether I don't. And I think being, in the public arena, and Josh, I want to correct you on a word you used. Is I don't consider myself a politician. I don't think that's a bad word. I don't. I think it's an honorable profession. But I kind of define myself as a public servant.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what the difference is, but I define myself as a public servant. So coming into a room, I've always been one, and you're a point guard, you're kind of that person that's got to bring people together. So that was part of the teaching and the learning. And then, being a teacher and a coach, that's been part of it. And then when I got in the political arena and elected on my 26th birthday, there's that
That's
part of
wild.
me that I want to be a person that interacts when I walk in a room. I want to, whether people know me or not, I want to shake their
Mm-hmm.
hand or speak to them or, work the room, they call it. But I do it not for the fact of, well, I want you to vote for me. I do it because I want people to know I'm approachable.
It's a genuine thing. I've seen
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it is.
100%.
I don't think you can fake that.
You can't
That's
fake
that's what
authenticity.
that's what I always think. I never think of Rocky Atkins as a politician. I always think of you as a friend, as a Kentuckian, as a champion for Kentucky. So that's how we always see you. But even going back to like, even at fish fries, there might be 50 people at a fish fry, or you could be at a major facility coming in Kentucky speaking to thousands of people, Toyota, Ford, whoever it may be. Those speeches, you can energize a room like an old fire department fish fry, the same as you can energize like a speech
Josh, you've
for
been to
the
a few of
company.
those.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a fish fry out of this. But how do you, Rocky? I wanted to ask how you prepare for those speeches because I know that some of them are a little different. You're such a great
Yeah.
communicator.
Well, some I'll use bullet points, but most of the time I use nothing. I kind of know the room,
Wow.
first of all. I mean, you got to know the room. Here in the governor's office, we have great speechwriters here. I'm not as good reading from a script. I got to get into it myself. You know what I mean? I've got to feel it. I've got to feel it. And a lot of times they'll hand me something, they know where I'm going, and most of the time, don't tell them this, the speechwriters, most of the time I'll leave it in the car. I may look at it to kind of go, but most of the time I leave it in the car. And I found out, you know, um, just like in an event up in northern Kentucky along I-71, they have 6 counties gone together to figure out along I-71 between Louisville and northern Kentucky how they can really energize their economy, having industrial sites and all of that. And I had these prepared remarks, but there was 250 people in the room, and I decided to leave the remarks on the table. As a matter of fact, when I was introduced and head up, somebody at the table started bringing. I just said, I don't need that.
Heck yeah.
And really, the speech
Love
I
it.
gave was a locker room talk. It was a locker room talk about teamwork. It was a locker room talk about being in the game. It was a locker room talk about if you want this to happen, there has to be an unbelievable commitment to work ethic, to togetherness, to teamwork. You got to make sure that you have this unbelievable stretch of road that can create all this opportunity, and you all are coming together now to try to figure out how to do it. Well, the way you do it is you make sure that number one, you have the same goal, you have the same game plan, and you figure out how you're going to implement that game plan. How you going to get a hold of this hot economy we've got in Kentucky that's creating all these good jobs? And here you all sit between northern Kentucky. We're building the Brent Spence Bridge to free up the traffic
Yeah.
flow. You got that major
Hmm.
airport in northern Kentucky, and then 71 connects with 65 and 64 in Louisville. You got another big airport where UPS is, their global hub. You got Amazon up there and DHL where their global hub, and you all are sitting right here in the middle. And my goodness, what an opportunity you all have from logistics to growing populations. And you're not in the game right now, but you're getting ready to raise your hand and say, put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. And when I finished that speech, I got a standing ovation.
Heck, I'm ready to
Absolutely.
stand up right now.
Well, it was, it's that kind
Yeah.
it's that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And on Saturday, I gave a speech and it was prepared, but I ended up not using it because I didn't feel it. I got to feel it. It's kind of
I
like
love that.
it's kind of like
Yep.
a coach going in the locker room. You can't read. You got to feel it. And so It was the deployment of
I saw
140
that.
of our National Guard, the 21st Engineering Battalion that was being deployed, and 201st Engineering National Guard, men and women, are great soldiers, and their families is there with them. They're getting ready. This is the departure ceremony,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and I have this prepared remark, but I mean, these folks, this is an emotional time.
Oh yeah.
This is a, so I get in and I start feeling this, and I just left it there, and I just got up, man, and I just said, look, you tell me more dedicated, more committed people than the 140 some that we have sitting here, that is in the Kentucky National Guard, that come from 55 counties across Kentucky, that are getting ready to be deployed on an important mission to protect our troops that are already on the ground in the Middle East. And I said, let me tell you something. We have the greatest National Guard in the United States of America, and part of that's sitting here in front of us right now. They're highly skilled, trained, and they're ready to complete this mission. Well, all of
Yes,
a sudden
sir.
I could feel the room, because
Yeah.
I just think you have to speak from the heart. Probably I've made mistakes doing that before, but saying something maybe I shouldn't have said. But I'd rather be, authentic. I'd rather be myself, and I'd rather be able to deliver something I feel comfortable, to where not only I'm feeling it, but the audience feels it as well.
100%.
It's like it's a mixture between a basketball coach, a military leader, and a Baptist preacher with a fiery sermon. It's all of those, but it's awesome. And there's
Yeah.
one thing I want to skip back to. You mentioned working across the aisle with people, teamwork, something you're all about. Today, it's very easy through social media and things for people to be like divisive and against each other. But like you said, and we know, something you're known for is working together with, or independent, Republican, whoever it is, just to get the job done.
That's right.
You know, what advice would you give to people today, or someone, about how to develop trust and work together across lines?
Well, let me say, first of all, you earn trust and you earn friendship. It's not given.
100%.
And I think the trust and friendship you earn comes with how you handle people and how you work with people. And so my 33 years in the House, I was in a lot of different positions. I came as a 26-year-old, didn't know where the bathroom was, and developed a good team around me that helped me along, and finally got on the Appropriations Committee, and I became a budget chair over economic development, natural resources, and tourism first. And then I became the budget chair for 6 years on transportation. So this was kind of like being getting a college degree. I wanted to understand this system, because I wanted it to work for the people I was representing in my legislative district. So, I did that, and I understood the budget. I understood how to move money and how to do things, and from the first committee chairmanship on the budget to the transportation. And I developed a working relationship with a lot of the members while I was doing that. I was trying to help Democrats and Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, you become the workhorse position. You become the majority leader of the House, and it's the workhorse position, man. You got to be the coach on the floor. You got to be the point guard. You got to have a game plan every day. You got to make sure you're ready for something, motion, or whatever somebody else is going to try to throw at you. So you got to be on top of your game every day. But
Mm-hmm.
with that, the other 99 members in the House, I developed a fairness. I developed a trust, a relationship. And here's what I did. I fed the members in my office before every session. It may be a cookie, it may be a glass of tea, it may be a little ham biscuit, it may be something. But before we go into session after leadership meeting, I go back to my office, and guess what? We had as many Republicans in there getting them something to eat as Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what they were doing? They were actually talking to each other. They were laughing. They liked each other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw it from building that trust. And then we go on the House floor and we'd have a debate.
Yeah.
I mean, Jeff Hoover and I would go at it, man. We'd get after it. We'd hold our ground. We'd hold our principles. We'd hold our position. But after the debate was over, and we'd adjourn from session. We left it all on the court.
Yeah.
And that night, we go out and have dinner. And we figure out a way to reach the middle and reach compromise. And that's what this country was built on. I mean, our country was built on people being able to debate, people being able to have differencing of opinions. But at the end of the day, as many positions that they got, how many can they reach compromise on? How many can they come to the middle and agree? So I've always said that, why can't we disagree and have debate? And what may threaten the democracy of this country more than anything else is this political divide that leaves there's not a middle that we can come back to and have agreement on, regardless of what the issue is. And why can we not disagree without being disagreeable?
Yep.
Why can't we disagree and still like each other? Why am I supposed to, because somebody's got a different letter out from their name, why am I not supposed to like them? I mean, that is foolishness as far as I'm concerned, but that's where we are with a lot of what's going on. And that's the reason every day, we're trying to drive through that. And we're trying to drive through the chaos, the political divide, and then at the end of the day, get good results for the people of Kentucky and build this better Kentucky for all. So it's a challenge, but I still believe, some of the best friends I got happen to have ours out from their names. Big deal. Big deal. I'm frustrated a little bit with the political divide, as you can tell. Social media has driven a lot of this. You all may watch my Facebook page, social media. Everything I put up is positive.
We're a top fan. Top fan.
And I never respond back to people that want to be mean. And you have that, but I think people do want positive, and I think they want to see good things happening. But it's easy to turn that negative button on with a lot of people with social media, network news, and all that.
That's a good thing about what we like, obviously, about you is you're mission driven. It's about the same thing it was when you played at Morehead State. It's a team Kentucky, team driven. Right. And you got to block out a lot of that noise.
That's what I was wanting to ask you, Rocky. A lot of people are finding their news through social media these days, or podcast, or what may be it. But it seems like if you pull out your phone, everything's so negative. I'm not going to go into details, but like you said, it's so negative. And, I feel like just looking at Kentucky, there's a lot to be optimistic about. And there's a lot of good things going on, too.
100%.
So it's easy to get caught up in these national headlines. But I was just out for a walk yesterday. I thought, my God, it's beautiful out here. Like, there's nothing bad going on. And I just wanted to ask you, what are some things, for people who might be in fear? Like, what should they be optimistic about in Kentucky?
Well, I would tell you that the positives far outweigh the negatives in Kentucky.
Absolutely.
And the numbers show it. It's unbelievable. I'm going to start with tourism. We've broken every tourism record as far as the economic impact of tourism in Kentucky now over the last 3 years post-COVID.
That's
so
awesome.
22 set the record, to 23 broke 22, and then 24 broke the record, and I think they've announced 25 broke the record of 24.
Wow.
So four straight years of the tourism record being broken, and we're like at economic impact just from tourism right now is like $14.3 billion. And that's people coming to Kentucky, spending money here, enjoying things that we take for granted every day. Our beautiful mountains, the trails, our beautiful lakes, the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. All of these opportunities for people to come here, they're coming. Tour the horse farms and all of that. We get up and we just kind of say, well, we're here. That's good. We enjoy it. But I'll go to a restaurant here in Frankfort, and I'm honest, I walk in, and I've been in this town a long time, and there's sometimes I don't know anybody in the restaurant. And I'll ask the waiter or waitress, who are these people? And they say, Rocky, these are folks here on the Bourbon Trail.
Good.
They're here touring the horse farms. And I said, where are they from? And she said, well, this group over here, so they're from Washington State. That group over there is from another country. This group here is from another state. So all of these people are coming to Kentucky, post-COVID especially. I think people, and our population is growing in Kentucky as well. I tell everybody all the time that there's 4.4 million people in Kentucky, 2.2 million of them have my cell number. So people know. So
Josh passed it out.
Let's just take tourism at first, a positive. We have broken every record when it's come to pieces and parts that are made here in Kentucky. We're now over 50 billion when it comes to exports of stuff made here in Kentucky is being exported. And you all know our number one export happens to be aerospace, the aeronautics industry, that we're making stuff here that's being. So we've broken every record when it comes to exports. And when it comes to private sector investment and economic development, I mean, it's off the charts. The momentum behind private sector investment, industry coming to Kentucky, logistics has a lot to do with that. We're right in the middle of the country. We
Oh
built
yeah.
out an interstate highway system. We got these two big airports. We have river. We have good rail access. We got a great workforce. We got great communities to live in. So now we have now exceeded over $50 billion of private sector investment over the last 6.5 years.
That's
We have
great.
created now over 70,000 new jobs at the highest wages in the history of Kentucky. January, February, March, April of this year broke records for a 4-month period of private sector investment, over $7 billion. So you all,
Wow.
both being athletes, you understand the importance of momentum. And the
Oh, yeah.
momentum in Kentucky right now, and having a governor that's on TV a lot, talking about the good things about Kentucky, what's going on here. I mean, we've ranked 5th now in Site Selection magazine in the country in
Yeah.
private sector investment, which
Wow.
is something that's never been done here. I mean, if you look at all the credit rating agencies that rate our financial stability, all of them have upgraded us to positive. And when you see all of that, and then Moody's did this one report to where they took each state throughout America and they ranked its economy like it was a country.
Yeah.
Well, half of those states were kind of in a light recession. There was another part of them that was stagnant. But man, here at Kentucky, it was unbelievable. Kentucky's economy is growing. Private sector investment is at record levels. All these industries are either growing with expansion or coming and building new. The population of Kentucky is growing. The financial stability, having the largest budget reserve trust fund in the history of Kentucky. And all of that is a story that you have to tell because people don't know it.
Oh
So
yeah.
I believe if you've got a
Absolutely.
good story to tell, you got to tell it. And that's the reason I tell you that the positives far outweigh the negatives here in Kentucky. And I'll just go back to what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring certainty and stability. We're trying to wade through the political divide that we don't care who gets the credit. These are not Democrat or Republican, right or left, red or blue. These are just projects that are good. And I think what most people care about when they get up in the morning is maybe not what I care about. Turn on CNN or whatever and watch the news. Most people are not get up every morning and worry about what their political party is. They get up and worry about whether they got a good job to put food on the table and a roof over there. They worry about if they got good roads and bridges to drive on that are safe. They worry about if they have a good hospital in their community, can take care of their family or themselves if they get sick. They worry about if they got a good public school to take their kids to. They worry about if they have adequate housing to be able to take care of this growing population. You know what else they worry about? They worry about if they live in a safe community.
100%.
So I think if we spend a lot of time telling this unbelievable story that we have in Kentucky, and listen, if you don't have a good story to tell, get out of the way. But man, if you got a good story to tell, you better tell it because there's so much negativity out there
Yep.
to try to to deflect away from all this good stuff going on in Kentucky. And these announcements are happening all over Kentucky, from rural areas to urban areas. And it's really exciting to see the infrastructure investment, over $1 billion in
Oh, yeah.
expansion of water and sewer, finishing the Mountain Parkway, a major 4-lane highway going all the way from Prestonsburg back to Winchester. The
Josh likes that one.
Yeah, the Brent Spence Bridge that's under construction right now.
Yep.
The I-69 bridge, which is Evansville over into Henderson, and doing all that infrastructure work that we're doing. So when you add all of this up of what's going on in Kentucky, we're no longer the flyover state, guys. We're the destination. And it's where people want to be. And I think Governor Beshear showed unbelievable leadership. I think he's getting national recognition now. And I think when most CEOs see him on TV, they kind of think, well, this guy seems to have some common sense.
Yeah.
He seems to have a little common ground. He seems to bring certainty and stability, and he seems to be battle tested, which is really
Oh, yeah.
important. And I think that's what CEOs who are going to be making big private sector investments, that's what they want to see. And I think
Yep.
that's the reason we're getting unbelievable results. And we figured out as a team how to get companies and industry to speed to market, which is so important.
And now, a word from our sponsors. L81, the official soft drink of the New Frontier Show. And I've got to say, I'm enjoying a nice, cold, refreshing Diet L8 myself right at this very moment. Thank you to all the folks at L81. Back to the show.
Teamwork makes the dream work. And
It does.
I think there's something you said. I think I saw it on Facebook. I like that you say it's from Paducah to Pikeville. I mean, you guys are across the state almost on a daily basis. Like today, you're in Ellicott, now you're in Frankfort. And not to change subjects, but is like an average day for you? I mean, you're from Bowling Green to Pike County to Northern Kentucky. Are you on the road just about every day?
I'm on the road. I travel a lot with the governor as well. But also we kind of divide and conquer sometimes too.
Yeah.
If he needs to be someplace, I'll go someplace else. Certain things while he's out of state, he's the chair of the Democrat Governors Association. He's traveling a lot, so I'm kind of staying here in state. And so yes, I mean my job. Somebody says, "What do you do as a senior advisor to the governor?" I say, "I don't know that there's a definition to it, because I'm doing something a little bit different every day. It may be putting out a solution or a fire over here, a problem that's happened that we need to get under control. It may just be a constituent call that I'm trying to take care of. I mean, it may be this economic development project. It may be, like this morning, being there to break ground this morning on an important project. But that's what I like to do. I
Yeah.
don't like to sit behind a desk. I'm not that kind of guy.
I didn't think so.
I'm a guy that likes to be on the ground in the trenches out there with people every day and interacting and trying to show them that we're making good things happen. And so, there's a couple of titles I've got. One is I'm the senior advisor to the governor,
Mm-hmm.
but the other one is some people call me the secretary of GSD. And the secretary of GSD says secretary of get stuff
Stuff.
done.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use
I
the
love
word
it.
here, okay?
Should we get to
So I'll use
Get
that
some-
on your all's program. I don't want you to be
Yeah,
R-rated or anything.
Should we
but
get some
it's
shirts
a
going?
way to get stuff
It's a
done.
family show.
Yeah, I mean, so at the end of the day, again, public service to me is about getting up every day and trying to help somebody,
Rolling your
trying to
sleeves
make
up.
something good happen for a community. And
Love it.
so that's the secretary of GSD, is to make something happen.
Yeah.
Help us, use this institutional knowledge you've got, use this institutional knowledge, not only of how it works here in Frankfort, but the institutional knowledge from Pikeville to Paducah of how you make things work in those communities. And I've enjoyed doing it. And I think, making good things happen. And, I just think that, again, the positives far outweigh the negatives. And I get
They
up
do.
every day with this positive attitude. And I think if more people would do that it would be a big benefit. I'm not saying people don't have challenges. We all have
Yeah.
challenges. Don't get me wrong. But I think if you look at the momentum in Kentucky, if you look where we live, it's an unbelievable place to live. Kentucky is. I mean, we got rural areas, we got flatland, we got mountains, we got rivers, we got it all.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people post-COVID really want room to move.
Mm-hmm.
They want a little space. And not only is the pace of business and industry fast here in Kentucky, but I believe, as the governor says, that the pace of life is just right.
That's
And
a fact.
so I think a lot of people are seeing that, and I think they're taking to it, and I think they enjoy being part of what we're doing here in Kentucky.
I like that you said that, the pace of life. Like Josh and I run obviously an online business. We've got a shop in Moorhead, small town, but also we ship all over the world, across the United States. So the pace of life is just right for us to operate for what we do. And I know a lot of people agree with that. It's a great place to live. But yeah, like I appreciate you said, like, that you and Andy obviously keep a positive attitude and keep that energy moving forward, because that's infectious. There's a lot of negative voices out there, but that positive energy, a lot more people see that than you think.
And seeing you too, Rocky, even like just your all support at our small business, you all have been boots on the ground at small businesses across Kentucky. And, you'll go in and shop with a small business, not even on an agenda or anything. You'll slip in and shop small, and we see that and feel that. And I just think that also, for small businesses in Kentucky, I feel like that you're a champion for that. And Because we've seen that. It's not even been an agenda of yours, just who you are.
And
I
Rocky,
talked about.
kind of,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I'm sorry.
I was going
You
to
talked
say,
about the big investments, but the small business is the heart and soul of the economy. You all know that. Every little town, every big town, it's that small business. It's that medium-sized business that that really makes the economy tick and make it roll. The big announcements, yeah, great. I mean, you have these jobs, these big investments, but when you take the small business, Main Street businesses, that's really the heartbeat of Kentucky and the
mm-hmm,
heartbeat of the economy.
100%.
100%. I was going to say your GSD reminds me of Elvis's TCB, taking care of business.
That's right.
That's the motto. And there's one other thing I want. This isn't related, and I've heard you say this. And tell me where you heard this, or if this is just something you came up with. You say I'm a Kentuckian from the top of the head to the bottom of my feet. Is that something you say, or did I hear that somewhere else?
No, that's something I say.
I
Uh,
love that.
I am. I'm a Kentuckian, and a lot of times, I say I'm a East Kentuckian, the top of my head, the bottom of my feet.
I
And
love that.
I'm proud of it, man. I really am, and I mean that. I
Yeah.
mean that. I talked about at the very start of this show who I am, where I come from, what was
Mm-hmm.
instilled in me. And when you have that kind of upbringing and you have that kind of experience, man, you're just so proud. And then when you get to work around people that are out here, in the mud, in the trenches every day, guys, we come from a part of Kentucky that helped build America. I mean, when
Mm-hmm.
you look at the commitment of the people of East Kentucky and what it's meant to America at so many different times, I mean, if you look at these coal miners that went underground and the folks that worked these railroads and these steel mills, I mean, look here, I mean, helped us win 2 world wars. The coal that was mined that helped us fuel the industrial revolution of this country that created the strongest middle class ever known to
Yep.
the world. I mean, that's what our region, Eastern and Western Kentucky, helped do. It helped. It
100%.
helped do it, and the western part of West Virginia. It helped build America, and that's the reason I'm so passionate about our region, and I'm so passionate about rural Kentucky, is that there's been so much done in these regions that help do so much for America, that to be able to rebuild those economies and help diversify those economies is what gets me up every day and really puts the fire in me to want to do this job for a longer period of time.
Mm-hmm.
I just believe that in my heart and soul that the only time anybody should ever have to leave any region of Kentucky, any region, is because they want to leave, not because they have to.
100%.
And that's exactly what burns this fire in my belly every day. It's what puts the chill up and down my spine to continue to do what I'm doing. And that is really the ultimate goal, is that we build economies in every region, but man, especially in those regions that played such a critical part in helping build America.
Love that.
Absolutely.
Josh, as we kind of wind down here, you want to ask Rocky a few quick hitters?
Oh yeah, Rocky, are we going to Rudy Fest? Poppy Mountain?
I plan on being there. I don't know about you guys, but I plan on being there. I'll probably
That's
have my guitar with me. We may play one or
that's
two.
what I wanted. That's what I wanted
Yeah.
to ask. Do you play any instruments?
Oh yeah, I play guitar.
I thought so.
Yeah, the Martin D28 I have now is 49 years old, and it is a Martin D28 that my close neighbor in Sandy Hook went with me to get, along with my dad, a guy named Keith Whitley. And so I
Wow.
still have that
Whoa.
guitar. It's a beautiful guitar, and I still get it out and play. I enjoy having good people around me when I play. You got to have a good team around you when you don't play as much as I'd like to play.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still enjoy playing. I plan on this weekend going to Railbird. I'm going to go to
Uh-oh.
Railbird, and I'm going to listen to some good music there. Our good buddy Tyler Childers is back again. He's going to close out the show. So I plan on being there most of the day on Sunday and mix and mingle and probably shake a hand or two and see some folks that I know, and
Yeah.
hopefully get to say hello to Tyler and Jesse and those guys while I'm there too.
See if they'll give you a guitar, let you come up and pick a little bit. That'd be fun.
Tyler and I have played one or two together backstage. We had a pretty good time with it, and I'd have to have that good band he's got around me. If I get out there with him, I don't think he'd let me on stage without him.
So they can flat play.
Yes,
You mentioned Keith Whitley. Obviously, he's from Elliott County, correct?
Yes.
Did
Yeah.
you all knew each other?
Well, we lived close together. My brother and he graduated high school together,
Wow.
and I lived about a quarter of a mile down the road, and it was really amazing to go up to Keith's little garage behind where he lived and walk in there, and you'd see two guys. I was 10, they were like 15,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd walk in and see two guys there playing, and one of them was Keith Whitley, the other was Ricky Skaggs. And so if you talk about
Oh
the
my
musical
gosh.
talent in our region, guys, it's off the charts. I mean, it's just
Wow.
off the charts. I mean, you want to talk about the country music highway, you start with a guy, Billy Ray up there, and you come down to the Judds and come over there to Keith Whitley. You go back to Lawrence County, you got Ricky and Tyler, and I'm missing some, but you go on down to Johnson County, and, about 10 miles from where Tyler was raised, you got Chris Stapleton and the coal miner's daughter from Johnson County as well. Patty Loveless, the White Yoken, Sturgill Simpson. I mean, my goodness. I
Wow.
mean, guys, where else? I mean, we all, we're not
There's
from the
so
same
many.
holler. We're
Center
not
of the
from the same
universe.
holler, just one holler over, And it's really amazing to get to see how much musical talent. I'm talking about talent that's made it to the top.
Oh yeah.
And it's really amazing to see. And of course, I love music. I love all kinds of music, to be very honest. I love bluegrass music. I love country. I love just about anything that comes on the radio. I just, I don't read music. I play by ear, and that's the way all of my family. But one of the guys I'll mention that you don't know, but has made his living in Nashville, and he and I graduated high school together. And he went down there basically as a producer to play in the studios. That's how
Mm-hmm.
good he is. And now he's hired by, he has been for many years, hired by all the top country music stars that you see on TV to play in the studio. And, studio players are the guys that play
Very
Oh, yeah.
it
good.
all together. You all know that.
Professional.
Yep.
And his name is Jimmy Lee Sluss. And
Okay.
some people pronounce that Sloss. So Jimmy Lee Sloss or Jimmy Lee Sluss. And I'll be around some of these guys, around Tyler or some of Chris's people or whoever. And I'll bring his name up, and they go, "Oh my God, you know Jimmy Lee?" I said, "Yeah,
Wow.
he's my cousin. We graduated from high school together, and he was a guy that only plays by ear. Read music."
Wow.
That's special.
One of the last times he went on, he doesn't like to go on the road. One of the last times he did, Garth Brooks's bass player had an injury, had to have surgery, something, got sick, and he calls Jimmy and say, "We need you, come with us." So that's how good the guy is. And most of these albums you hear come out from most of these top entertainers, it's a guy from Elliott County that helped put it together. Pretty
And
amazing.
also, that's
That's
awesome.
really
I
cool.
mean, you touched on it, most of them. There's so much talent here in Kentucky.
Unbelievable.
It's really the jack of all trades. We got music down. Josh had a restaurant question. He's looking for a good place to eat. Josh, go ahead.
Yeah, Rocky, you can probably hear my stomach growling. There's a lot of good restaurants in Kentucky, but if you had to pick one or two to shout out,
three.
or you could do three, which ones would you be like, I got to hit that? I got to hit that
So
spot.
let me tell you something.
Or West Virginia. We talk about Rocco's.
Now, I don't know if we'll talk about West Virginia. It may get me in trouble. But I love Rocco's. Y'all know that.
We do
It's a
too.
great place. There's, it just, I love the environment, and you get great food, and, got a little, organ piano player. And I mean, it's just great. After a long week, I enjoy
Yep.
going there just to kind of relax. But, you come across into Kentucky. I mean, you're right. There's so many good restaurants, so many good places to eat. Just an example. Here in Frankfort, there's a little breakfast place that I love to stop because it's a small place.
Mhm.
I mean, you all remember the Frosty Freeze in Sandy Hook?
Yes,
yeah.
I've
sir.
probably eaten 1,000 meals there, and I miss
Oh,
it.
yeah.
It's gone. It's no longer there. But there's this little restaurant. It's just got kind of tables, and then it's got a bar, and it's called Melissa's here in Frankfort, and
We'll have to
a
check
lot of
it
the
out.
locals go in, and in the mornings, not every morning, but a few mornings over a month's time, I'll just stop in. And I remember the first time that I stopped in there. I'll never forget. I really didn't think I knew anybody, but everybody in there knew me. And I'll never forget, Melissa opens that place like at 4 a.m. in the morning to get ready for the work crowd that comes through that wants a good meal. And I'm sitting there, and she said, "Would you like coffee?" I said, "Yes, ma'am, I would." And I'll never forget. She said, "You're Rocky Adkins, aren't you?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "I like you." I said, I appreciate that. She said, now what do you want for breakfast? I said, I want 2 fried eggs. I want the bacon extra crispy. I'd like them, those cut up potatoes you fix, those good fried potatoes you fix.
Oh
And,
yeah.
Home fries.
and you know, and at the end of the day, when you get finished up, you know, it's like $9 or $10 and you leave a tip and, you know, you just, so that's, you know, those kind of places are kind of, I like.
Oh,
Mom
100%.
and pop.
You know, and I like all kinds of food, and I've been in a lot of communities where you just kind of have unbelievable. Not only, you know, from the food standpoint, yes, it's really important, but you know, from the feel of the environment where you are is important to me as well. So,
Yep.
you know, when you work hard all day, you want to be able to go to get a nice dinner where it feels good, the environment's right, you know people and all that. So, you know, I just like it. If you're in Lexington, you already know the spots. You're there a lot, and there's a lot of them. There's just not
Yeah.
one. There's a lot of them.
A lot of
If you're
good
in
food.
Louisville, a lot of good food from rural areas to very urban areas. Just the best of the best. So I love Kentucky. I love who we are. I'm excited about you know the good things we've got going on in Kentucky. The positives far outweigh the negatives, and we're going to continue fighting through this political divide, and we're going to continue to bring certainty and stability, common sense, and common ground. And we're going to continue to treat people with dignity and respect, regardless of where they come from, who they are. We're going to lift people up, not going to divide them. We're going to be like that good point guard. We're going to unite them and bring them together as a team. And
Everybody eats.
everybody's at the table, man. Everybody's got a seat. Everybody's
Josh,
Once we're Rocky, we're
Rocky's
getting
got a
to,
busy afternoon.
I was looking at that clock. It's ticking down, but we got one. Actually, got 2 quick questions, and
Yeah,
we'll get
yeah,
out.
go ahead.
We'll get out of here. 2, and we're out of here.
Josh
One,
got a lunch. He's got a lunch scheduled. Go ahead.
Yeah, is Dad Jerry Ravenscraft? Is he doing all right for you all? As far as is he showing up and doing everything all right? Because he tells us he is, but
Jerry is on the job. He's there before we get there. And when we get out of the vehicle, I look at him because I know he's got that hand up that says, "Put me in, coach. I'm ready to."
he'll love that.
So, you know, I know if you throw Jerry the ball, you know, you ain't going to get it back. He's going to shoot it, okay?
He
He's going to
loves
put
it.
it in orbit, man. He's going to put it in orbit.
That's
Jerry's
funny.
great. He is perfect for the position he has. He knows how to relate with people. People know who he is. If he don't know him, he'll know who they are before we ever get there. He is the perfect person in the position he's in to work all these communities and all of these places. And we just know that, like I said, he's ready. And Jerry, you can tell, really enjoys what he's doing.
Oh,
He
he loves.
enjoys
Absolutely.
He
his
loves it.
job and what he's done, and he's good at it. And
He loves
I'm
Eastern
proud.
Kentucky.
I'm proud to call him friend. He's one of the best, and he and I have known each other for a long, long time, and we share a lot of those experiences from athletics too, when we're
Yes,
together
sir.
at these different places. And you all are lucky. You got a special guy there. You really
Yes,
do.
sir.
He loves
100%.
you. And Rocky,
All
you
right.
mentioned, you say you still have got a lot of energy left in the tank, and you're optimistic about the future of Kentucky, and you're positive. And just in case, somebody, wanted you to take the seat of being the leader of Kentucky as far as the governor of Kentucky, would that be something that you would consider or want to do? I mean, it sounds like you would be the perfect candidate for that.
Well, I will tell you, I've still got fuel in the tank. I will tell you, I'm getting tremendous encouragement from across Kentucky, from rural areas to urban areas, to look at the governor's race. And because of that, I definitely have not ruled it out. We're giving it very, very serious consideration. And, I want to make sure that when I make that decision, that we're ready to hit the ground running, and we're ready to carry on the legacy of Andy Bashir that he's built. And if I do get in this race, you guys know me well enough that I'll be getting in to win. I'll be getting in. There will not be anybody outwork us, and we'll have an organization of a team that will put together an unbelievable campaign across Kentucky that people will enjoy being a part of, and we'll have people raising their hands saying, "Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play." So we'll see where that takes us, but we're getting we're getting tremendous encouragement to get in the race, and because of that, I'm giving it very serious consideration.
As they say here in the mountains, that dog can still hunt.
that dog can still hunt, and I believe I could take both of you guys on the foot race out there on Main Street in Moorhead. I believe
I
I could
believe
still-
it.
I have no doubt.
Oh,
I have
Rocky,
no doubt.
man, you've been real kind to give us some of your time. I know you're busy, so appreciate you joining us today, and thanks for being on.
You're very welcome, guys. It's good to see both of you. I'm so proud of both of you guys, what you're doing with your business, what you are as human beings, how you're giving back to really help people throughout our region and beyond. I have deep respect for both of you, and I love you both, and I want you all to continue to do well. And I'm here for you if there's anything I can do in any shape, form, or fashion. Both of you have my cell number. You're part of that 2 million of the 4.4 million that have my cell number. So
Josh got to quit passing it out.
I watched both of you grow up as babies, and feel like you're part of the family, and I hope you all feel the same way. And
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
just appreciate both of you so much. Keep up your good work. Keep up your good public service, and continue to grow that small business that you got there now on Main Street in Moorhead, Kentucky.
You're the best, man.
Thank
we
you, Rocky.
appreciate you.
We love you,
See
man.
you guys. Have a good one.
Thank
See
you,
ya.
buddy. See you.
Thank you all for listening to this episode of The New Frontier Show. It wouldn't be possible without y'all, so we appreciate you listening, and we'll see you next time right here.
And if you enjoyed yourself, please do us a favor and like, subscribe, tell a friend, and we'll see you next time wherever you find your podcast.